Tonight I'm going to try to get my rocker sills replaced on this truck. It's a 95 Z71 King Cab. It's one of my work trucks, so rocker sills were replaced before and I'm going to do them again. It's a black truck. So I just redid the floor, the driver's side floor, and a bunch of work in all the mounts underneath. There's 6 mounts, one there, one in the center of the cab, one back on both sides. All mounts were rebuilt. Now I have that spring hanger down there where I'm pointing. There's a crack in the back of it, so I'm going to have to replace that or weld a new bracket or a new piece in the bracket. I've replaced the cross member in this before, and I'm going to replace the spring just because they're getting wore out, and there's one broken anyway, so I'm going to replace the springs on both sides. And then I have to hook the emergency brake cable back up. Where I pulled the floor, I had to unhook the emergency brake cable so I can get the cable back down through the floor. And I'll probably end up replacing both taillights. And then I have a back bumper that needs to be replaced, and I have the bumper. Bumper's right there on back of the truck with all the other garbage. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do here. And this is, like I said, a 95 Chevy, and it's in fairly good shape. I bought it for the body before the rocker sills were rotted for $2,500. And so, has a good motor, good transmission in it. But the rear end was shot when I bought it. I replaced the rear end. I replaced the steering column. The steering column would flop on your lap. The whole thing was busted. So I replaced all that. I got to put the dash back together from when I was welding the floor. Welded a whole new floor panel in. I built it. I bent it all up myself. It's got a 5.3 liter in it. V8. Not a bad truck. Rides like a dream. Just like a Cadillac. I've got new tires to put on it. I'm going to use those rims, but different tires. A little bit lower profile in this area. Those are 18-inch tires, and this truck only called for 16s or 17s originally. So I'm going to go with the lower profile tire and use those frost rims. So that's what I've got. So anyway, so I've been here messing around. And I got the grinder out, and I grind it here, and that's when I found out this was replaced once before. And I'm just going to continue on scoring that until I break all the welds off. And I've got it somewhat done now. Once I break this rocker sill off, there's a piece of the old one underneath of it. And I have brand new slip-ons that I just got from Nova Welding. And I'm going to cut a few pieces off it, like where the inside of the door sill on the bottom. I'm going to cut that off, so basically I'm just going to cut it off straight all the way up. The only thing about these slip-ons is it's missing that end. Like, if you're looking down the face of the rocker where the door sill would be, running up against it, all of a sudden it misses it into the cab corner, and I don't know why they built them that way. But both sides are the same, and it's not a good idea. They should have continued that bend all the way out, really, like they did on the other side, down at the other end. The reason being is because on my rocker sill, up on the top, right here, I'm showing rust. So now I'm going to have to weld a patch panel in on top of the rocker sill, because the new rocker sill, only comes down from here, whether you see that bend in the body, and it comes down and goes down like so, and then straight across here. So that's not a very good setup. They should have actually built the top so it came across here, and then you could have built something to it. But anyway, we're going to work with it. I'll put a piece of metal in there and bend it in, and then I'll have to shape it with body fill or fiberglass or something like that and make it work. Underneath, I cleaned it up mostly, but I still have to go underneath here. Now there's the small section small section underneath here, if you can see it, which I don't know if you can, but they come straight down off the floor of the cab, and then it hooks this way. Well, there's a section on that that's getting a little bit bad, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going to cut everything out that's loose like that, and I'll probably run some oil up inside that frame there, that support. Anyway, cut that all off, and then I'll run a new piece across there, and then I'll weld the new panel, the new rocker sill. It only comes to the bottom part. I'll weld it back into this. I'll drill some holes and put some plug welds in. So that's how I'm gonna do that. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna drill holes through the back of it up here on the flat, and I'll put some rubber plugs in there, and I'll fill them full of oil, just so they don't rust out again for at least another couple of years. It's probably, I'll have the truck that long if nothing happens to it. So it's in good shape, even though it's a little dirty, but it's in really good shape. The interior is in really good shape. So right now it's just tore apart, and I've got it a mess in there, but that's not a big deal. That's not part of this project right now. So today, what I'm doing, like I said, I'm going to try to cut these rockers if I can. So let's just see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and cut those rockers. My blade here, put a zippy on. There's a piece of the old rocker sill, the original rocker sill there, and I don't want to cut it. I want to use that for my welding because it's still in good shape. So I'm just going to cut the new piece off. Now there, I've cut the old sill off. That was the second sill. That was the replacement sill. I cut that off. I'm going to bring you a little closer. You can see how they cut the sill off before. And I would have done the exact same thing. So I'm going to clean that up once I get this done. I've got a long ways to go. I've got to cut all the way up there, cut down underneath the truck, get all that rust out of there, cut all the way back to the back of the cab, all the way to the cab mount, or the cab corner, right down there. You can see where the joint is in the body mold. And I'm going to cut that all off, and then I'm going to clean it up, and then I will be cutting the new rocker. I will cut this piece right off, right here at the mold. I'll be cutting that right there. And once I cut that right there, that's where it's welded on. Right here on the truck. So I don't have to go up inside the door jamb, which is better because then I don't have to get into a bunch of, like, there's a bend in the body here. Like, it's not rotted there, so there's no point in me having to change that. Like, if I get a couple years out of this truck, I'll probably be buying a new one by then. So I'm not worried about it. I've had it now for 2 years. So if I get 4 years out of this truck, I'm good. So, okay, so now I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to go at that again and continue on down. It's going to take me some time, so there's no point in trying to show you every little thing there. I'll see you in a minute.